November 8th, 2016. All of us on the left and a substantial segment of the right watched in amazement as Donald Trump rode a burgeoning wave of race hatred and ideological tribalism into the White House.
Pennsylvania goes to Donald Trump. Donald Trump is the President of the United States. Donald J. Trump is the President of the United States elect. The son of a Queens millionaire defied all conventional wisdom and all expectations. The long-term practices of the Republican Party were stood on their head. He spoke to the disaffected. He spoke a sense of trickle-down economics.
If you think victory has satiated this monster, you are very fucking mistaken. And if you think defeating the Republicans in 2018 or 2020 is going to stop it or destroy it, you're delusional. The new authoritarianism is here. It is part of the culture, and it's making itself comfortable.
As I've said from the beginning, ours was not a campaign, but rather an incredible and great movement made up of millions of hardworking men and women who love their country and want a better, brighter future for themselves and for their family.
Ethno-nationalism, white supremacy, hard-right authoritarianism has been back in Europe for a while, and now it's here. Not the bad part of America you'd never actually visit, not some backwoods hillbilly America that we get to ignore in our little lefty bubble, not the Supermax the next county over. It's all around you. It's next door. It's in a little town in Ohio where a nice young newly married couple are starting their life together. This is something new. Remember when Bush was president and you'd hold up a piece of cardboard and shout that he was a fascist with a bunch of your friends? Yeah, he wasn't. Neither was Obama or Clinton or the other Bush or Reagan. They might have been terrible presidents, each of them. They might be terrible people. They might have done unforgivable things. Every single one of them was squarely within the tradition of Western liberal democracy, and so were the politics. Donald Trump isn't. His followers aren't. We are through the looking glass. If the left doesn't stop pretending these people don't exist, pretending they're an anomaly, pretending they will go away if the Democrats take back the House, or Mueller catches Donald Jr. red-handed, or your friend posts another meme about Donald Trump being orange, the left is going to get its fucking silly ass kicked again.
Working together, we will begin the urgent task of rebuilding our nation and renewing the American dream. We are going to fix our inner cities and rebuild our highways, bridges, tunnels, airports, schools, hospitals. We're going to rebuild our infrastructure, which will become, by the way, second to none. And we will put millions of our people to work as we rebuild it. We will also finally take care of our great veterans.
Nobody thought Donald Trump could win the Republican primary because he was just so stupid, so venomous, and so obviously beyond the bounds of what we thought were the cultural political norms. But he did. No one thought he could win the election for the same reason, but he did. And he won not despite those flaws, but because of them. A huge segment of the population of the United States is filled with hatred so intense, they actively want a vastly more authoritarian government that will shove that hatred down the throats of the left. They want fascism. They're hungry for it, whether they call it that or not. In the kind of Orwellian doublespeak this administration has become famous for, they call it liberty or freedom or American values, but they're talking about hard authoritarianism. They're talking about fascism. A lot of them would balk at the term, but they know what they want. It's not going to get better overnight, and if Trump loses in 2020, trust me, I know these people. The hard right, the Trump right, the authoritarian right, is going to lose their goddamn minds. If Trump loses, it's going to get worse. And what do you suppose happens then? What do you suppose happens when the apple pie fascists find someone capable to do the job? What happens when someone capable realizes there's an opening? What happens when that person isn't a fucking clown?
It's hell. And the Nazis came along and said, well, not only are we going to restore order and greatness, but we're going to bloody well tell you whose fault this is. It's like, and Hitler, I've studied him a lot trying to understand what happened, and Hitler was, Carl Jung called him the mouthpiece of the collective unconscious of the German people. So you imagine there's all this resentment and hatred brewing underneath the surface, and all this chaos is there, and the desire for order is like clamoring in everyone's minds. And Hitler comes along, and he's a very powerful emotional orator. He acts out the dark desire of the mob. So he becomes the embodiment of the dark desire of the mob. It's right, because there's this unconscious fantasy brewing in the back of everyone's minds. You see that to some degree now.
Hey guys, hey, as someone who's been watching this shit for 2 fucking years, here's a little wake up. You really don't have to worry about the New York Times normalizing Nazis because it's too fucking late. This shit is normal now. Like I said, for 2 years I've been telling people to join a Trump group, watch a Nazi website, do something to keep yourself familiar with this shit. And for 2 years I've been watching everyone ignore that advice and then act surprised when Nazis happen. Guys, they're happening. If the Times profile bothered you, if you were surprised that the Times would print something so bland about a Nazi, you just haven't caught up to where we are. There's just no way you would be surprised if you were really familiar with the real-world, ground-level political landscape of 2017. It was spot-on perfect in execution and conception. You're angry because you wanted the Times to treat the Nazi as though he were abnormal, but he just isn't. You want to read about Nazis leading some sort of twilight existence on the cultural outskirt, but that's not where they are. The New York Times didn't normalize that Nazi. He's just normal. I'm not talking about 5 or 6 unpleasant comments on your local newspaper website. I'm talking about literally hundreds of posts with threads that are thousands of comments long every day in every group exactly like this, in too many groups to count. They're not monsters. They're not the prison gang leader with the swastika on his neck. They're just folks. They're filled with hate, but they're still just folks most of the time. This is America now. It's not going away. It's likely going to get worse before it gets better. We all need to understand what the fuck is going on before reality slaps us all in the face again, harder, with more permanent and deadlier results. And that's how it ends.
That was an excellent listen.